Welcome to our introductory course on Eternalism, the divine philosophy of the eternal worlds. Unit 12, Two-Tier Thinking for Youth. In Unit 12, we'll explore two-tier thinking for youth with 4 relatable illustrations, plus a 5th that highlights the problem of mixed premises, their causes, consequences, and the need for resolution before further harm occurs. In addition, we'll be preparing you to take what we call a philosophical checkup, an opportunity to evaluate your foundational ideas and principles. Gospel primacy issues and two-tier thinking aren't just found in the scriptures. They're everywhere in the real world, from practical to social, religious, and political issues. When teaching two-tier thinking to youth, it's best to start with practical examples they can easily relate to and apply. In this Unit 12, we'll use 4 practical illustrations to emphasize the gospel principle of putting first things first and second things second. Let's begin with our first 2 practical illustrations drawn from nature itself. You've probably heard the saying, "April showers bring May flowers." It's an old proverb that highlights a simple truth about nature, the cause and effect relationship between April's rain and the growth of flowers in May. This saying perfectly illustrates the principle of putting first things first and second things second, which we can diagram using our two-tier structure. Let me show you what I mean as we take a moment to walk through this two-tier thinking. In the context of April showers bring May flowers, it's clear that April showers hold Tier 1 status and May flowers Tier 2. Why? First, April comes before May, and second, the rain is foundational. It makes the flowers possible rather than the other way around. Reversing this order would confuse both the timeline and the cause and effect relationship, giving primacy to the result rather than the cause. Therefore, April showers are foundational, Tier 1, while May flowers are derivative, Tier 2. Our second example, also from nature, comes from the familiar saying, "Where there's smoke, there's fire." This is another clear illustration of a two-tier structure. When asking which has primacy, smoke or fire, the answer is simple. Fire holds Tier 1 status because it is the cause, while smoke holds Tier 2 status as the effect. Fire is foundational and smoke is derivative. Reversing this order would be as nonsensical as putting May flowers before April showers, as it would imply that smoke causes fire rather than the other way around. Once again, we see the importance of respecting the natural cause and effect relationship. These 2 examples from nature show how important it is for our youth to get these gospel primacy issues and two-tier thinking right. They help us see the difference between what's foundational, the cause, and what's derivative, the effect, in the world around us. Our next 2 examples come from everyday life to show that gospel primacy issues and two-tier thinking are part of our daily experiences, not just the scriptures or nature. These examples are simple, familiar, and easy for our youth to relate to. Take the order of putting on shoes and socks. Which comes first? Socks clearly have primacy and receive Tier 1 status, while shoes follow with Tier 2 status. This isn't because socks are more important or valuable, but because the practical order requires socks to go on first. If we reverse this and tried to put shoes on before socks, it would be not only impractical, but completely nonsensical. Hence, in this context, socks hold Tier 1 status and shoes Tier 2. Our next practical example comes from the familiar saying, "Don't put the cart before the horse," especially if you want to get anywhere in life. So which comes first, the horse or the cart? The point of the saying is clear. The horse goes first and holds Tier 1 status, while the cart comes second and holds Tier 2 status. This isn't because the horse is more important or valuable than the cart, but because the practical order requires the horse to lead. If we reverse this and put the cart before the horse, it wouldn't just be impractical, it would be completely nonsensical. Hence, in this context, the horse holds Tier 1 status and the cart Tier 2. These 2 practical examples, shoes and socks and the cart and horse, not only make sense to our youth but are relatable and teachable. They help them clearly grasp the principle of putting first things first and second things second. Now let's turn to another practical example to highlight the importance of gospel primacy issues and two-tier thinking, this time focusing on the problem of mixed premises. and the damage they can cause even in a gospel setting. Specifically, we'll see what happens when the practical realm, modern mindset, clashes with the religious realm, pre-modern mindset, when the latter gets it wrong. Let's start with some familiar advice. Always look before you leap. A young boy named Sam had heard this from his father countless times, reminding him not to act rashly or foolishly. Years later, on a family vacation in Florida, this advice paid off. Sam was about to jump off a ledge into a lake with his inner tube, but he stopped to look first. Sam shouted, "Wow, good thing I looked before I leaped," as he spotted a hungry alligator waiting in the murky water below. This simple example can be diagrammed using two-tier thinking. Which comes first, look or leap? The answer is clear. Sam's father had drilled it into him from childhood. Look holds Tier 1 status as the foundational principle, while leap holds Tier 2 status as the dependent action. Ignoring this order could have had serious consequences. Now let's move to the religious realm and see what happens when a pre-modern mindset distorts the gospel principle of faith. Just 3 weeks after Sam avoided a dangerous leap into alligator-filled waters, by following his father's advice to always look before you leap, he found himself at a church summer youth camp. During a hands-on lesson about faith, a camp leader taught the group that true faith meant blind faith. To illustrate, the leader had the youth climb a tall ladder, blindfolded, while he steadied it from below. Sam climbed to the top blindfolded and listened as the leader encouraged him to take a leap of faith and fall backwards into the arms of his friends. They shouted, "Don't worry, we'll catch you." This went against everything Sam's parents had taught him about looking before leaping. Confused and perturbed by the contradictory messages, his father's advice versus the camp leader's teaching, and even though feeling pressure to conform, Sam removed the blindfold, climbed back down the ladder, and told the instructor that this wasn't his understanding of faith. The camp leader, disappointed, continued the exercise, and the rest of the group climbed the ladder, blindfolded, and fell backwards into the arms of their friends, who fortunately were not blindfolded as well. Using two-tier thinking, we can diagram this situation. Which comes first, look or leap? For the camp leader, leap held Tier 1 status as the foundation, while look was Tier 2, or entirely ignored. This so-called faith-building exercise isn't just hypothetical. It happens every year at Christian summer camps, including some Latter-day Saint settings. Unfortunately, it shouldn't. This highlights the importance of getting gospel primacy issues right to avoid the mixed messages our youth face as they navigate between reality-based foundations and false faith-based foundations. In Unit 11, we explored 6 gospel primacy issues, starting with the Savior correcting the Pharisees by placing man above the Sabbath and ending with the metaphysical primacy of cause over effect. In this unit, we've added 5 more examples of two-tier thinking tailored for our youth, bringing the total to 11. These illustrations highlight the importance of gospel primacy issues, the two-tier structure, and the foundational nature of Tier 1 status. Getting these relationships right is critical to understanding their proper place in this framework. As we wrap up, remember what we established in Unit 11 and confirmed here in Unit 12. Gospel primacy issues and two-tier thinking are foundational to eternalism, providing a clear and principled framework essential for understanding the gospel and the nature of reality. This ends this Unit 12 presentation. Thank you for watching. Join us for Unit 13, where we'll guide you through what we call a philosophical checkup, an insightful evaluation of foundational ideas and principles.